When I made my first Kamala video for Marvel's Avengers, no one knew what the game's Omega level threats were going to look like. Now that the first one's out and more are on the way, I thought I should update my guide of how to be the ultimate support character. This is how to play Miss Marvel as a support character in Marvel's Avengers. First stuff first, as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and come find me on Twitch. All of those things are free, simple things that you can do to support my content, and I would really appreciate it. Let's get into it. The Omega level threat family reunion can be hard, and your job as a support character in this game is to make sure it's not. Your goal is to make the hard stuff easier. When it works, it probably looks something like this. Solidly intimidating moment right there. Okay, so but let's be honest, the super Adaptoid fight isn't always going to go that way. So you're going to want to have a Kamala that's ready to deal with it. If you've already seen my Kamala build, some of this is going to look very familiar because it hasn't honestly changed a whole lot. But I'm going to speed through the build just in case you haven't seen it before. Now remember, the focus of this build is 100% support. Your goal is to heal for the entire mission start to finish. And if you can keep people alive in the OLT, you can probably keep them alive in any mission in the game. First, the skills. In your specialty skills, you're going to want to equip a second charge of Healing Spirit and make it last longer. Make sure High Fives and Embiggen have a chance of dropping Heroic Orbs. I prefer to use the Exploding High Five and to make my Embiggen last longer, but you can tune those two to your needs if you want to. In the Mastery section, I'd go with these choices. Heroic Energy Mastery to get your heroics back faster, Heroic Grab Mastery for a chance at orbs, Heroic Polymorph to regen heroic while you're polymorphed, Polymorphic Reduction to use less intrinsic, Polymorph Precision to get more crits, Superhero Endurance to use less intrinsic, Adrenaline Surge to get your intrinsic back faster, and Rapid Regeneration to regain health faster. In my testing, these are the best choices to balance health recovery, heroic recharge, and polymorph energy. You can adjust these to your needs as you see fit, but in all of my hours playing Kamala, and that's a lot of hours, this is the best way I've found to set up these skills. When you get to champion points, start with heroic charge rate, then move on to perk chance and crit chance. From there, it's your choice, but I focused critical damage, stun and status damage, and fortification. Now, let's talk gear, and I'm going to start with the two essential pieces for this Kamala build. If at all possible, you want to get Kamala's slot 3 and slot 4 exotics from Last Avengers Standing. If you can't get them there, get the legendary version from Vaults. With the combination of Marvelous Body Armor and Marvelous Regalia, your Healing Spirit recharges 36% faster, your team takes 15% less damage, they do 20% more damage, and they get a 35% increased crit chance. Those numbers should be very similar if you get the legendary versions from Vaults, but one of those perks might roll differently, which is why I recommend the exotics if you can get them. Also, here's some big news since the last time I talked about this in a video. The damage buff and crit chance from Healing Spirit now also seems to apply to Kamala, which means when she's healing and helping teammates, she's also doing more damage herself, which is huge. It's incredible. Moving on to slot 1 and 2. In these slots, you want both your melee and your range critical attacks to grant either a heroic charge burst or a cosmic surge. The heroic charge burst is going to drop randomly from anywhere, so check chests, finish missions, defeat question mark enemies, those types of things. The cosmic surge on melee or range critical attacks right now is only going to come from the OLT. So check your OLT gear as you finish it, because you could upgrade just by finishing the mission. Cosmic Surge and Heroic Charge Burst both recharge your heroics. So the goal is to get both of those to proc at once, and as much as possible, because that's going to get your Healing Spirit back faster. Along the same lines, if you can get it, the ISO of Cosmic Affinity has Cosmic Surge on taking damage, so it can also be a great choice for missions like Tachyon Storms or the OLT, or just anytime you're taking a lot of damage. If you can, get Might and Valor ISOs that recharge your heroic support ability even faster. Now, the Cosmic Affinity ISO that I got doesn't have that first perk, so sometimes I swap these in and out, but what you're looking for is as much might and as much valor on these ISOs as you can, so you can add to the team's damage. And by the way, in my testing, if you have to sacrifice either a might ISO or a valor ISO for a Cosmic Affinity ISO, choose the valor ISO. Kamala seems to do more damage with higher might numbers, even while embiggened, than she does with higher valor numbers. Lastly, for your major artifact, just run the ring and get your heroics back faster. It's the right choice for a support build. That is my 100% support focused Kamala build. Now, take a look at how hard she hits, sir. So this.
The Abomination clone is defeated. Well done, Avengers.
And that's with no damage buffs at all. I'm using the battery effect because my ranged attacks do shock and my melee attacks do cosmic, and I did choose might, valor, proficiency as often as I could if the gear fit into my build. One of my ISOs also gives me an increased critical hit chance on light combo finishers, but like I said, every choice for this build was made specifically to be the best possible support character I could be. I think that with this build, Kamala might be the best all-around character in the game. She heals, she buffs teammates, and if needed, she can absolutely flatten an enemy. Now, how do you use this in the OLT? Activate that healing spirit early and often. Don't even let your teammates get to low health at all. And after you activate it, punch and kick and grab and squeeze and take damage. Do anything you can to get Heroic Charge Burst and Cosmic Surge to proc more often. While you're at it, activate your Embiggen and use your High Five to try to generate more orbs for yourself. Running between objectives might be the most challenging part of the OLT in terms of keeping your teammates alive, because I've found it's pretty hard to keep them together. They spread out because they all travel at different speeds. Some people go off to collect a Tachyon orb and then come back, and in those moments, anything can happen. Do your best, communicate with them, and try to keep them together. For the hostage rescue portion, I like to mark the cage, heal near it, and then coordinate with the team to open it. This whole section is incredibly simple, by the way, with a Thor and one burst of his Odin Force Lightning. At the high value targets, I heal and embiggen and repeat until they're dead. There are a lot of enemies in this section that you don't have to defeat, so try to focus on just the ones that you do. A lot is happening at the Warbot, but you don't need to worry. I spend 99% of my time directly under the center of the Warbot healing. Everyone else working on the vents and collecting time won't have to worry about their health, as long as they stick close. For the enemies guarding the door, it's pretty much the same as the high value targets. Keep healing, keep smashing, and you'll get inside in no time. My strategy for the code section is purely support. I stay on the center point and guide the rest of my team to the next number. If you step off that center point for even a few seconds, the code entry section resets and you have to start over. So I like to stay in the center. When the enemies spawn, and they always spawn to the left of the door that you came in, I heal and hold the point. Rinse and repeat that 3 times. Now, it's time for the dreaded Super Adaptoid. As soon as the animation ends, I immediately do 3 things. I heal, I mark the Super Adaptoid, which helps when it splits so you know which one to focus on, and I embiggen. With my ranged attack, I try to get a full stack of shock damage, then I go in swinging with my light combo attacks. Remember, that's where my status damage is. When it works, the Super Adaptoid is down in seconds. When it doesn't work, and you get to the full phases of the Super Adaptoid, here's what I focus on. As many melee attacks and range attacks as I can for a chance at a Heroic Charge Burst. Healing Spirit as often as I can to either keep the team alive or to revive them if they're down. High Fives are always saved for the turrets, because it's going to defeat the turrets and you're going to have a chance at orbs. And when Embiggen is up, I try my best to meld as much of the boss as I can. Now, even with this build, the mission isn't always going to be easy. The Cosmic Charge debuff can knock you back mid-combo and make you miss attacks. The spin turrets can take your heroics at the absolute worst time. Maybe you'll get so many Super Adaptoid clones that you can't really tell if you're coming or going. If that happens, take a breath, regroup, trust the build that you put together. It's not going to guarantee that every run's going to be flawless, but the more you refine your build and your playstyle, the more you can accomplish those goals. Make the hard stuff easier. Help more people. Have more fun. Thanks for watching.